Hello everyone. In this video should be the last in the series, at least for right now. I'm going to go over weight maps and how you use them. There is one caveat about weight maps, and for some reason, using the Send to Unreal button, I mean everything is created correctly and imported correctly into Unreal, except for some reason it doesn't. There's something off on the weight map files or the way it thinks the weight map files are. So if you're going to use weight maps, use the download heightmap button. You can try this into Unreal and try importing the weight maps. They're imported the same way, but if you get some funky error that it says 2017 by 2017 is not the same extent or something like that, something about the extent, using the Send to Unreal button and weight maps, then just download it manually. So I'm just going to download it manually because I know know that works. So let me show you what weight maps are and what they do. First of all, let's just start fresh, and I'm going to pick an area I want. I'm going to double click on it. I'll get my preview image. I'm going to select Create Weight Map Files. I'm going to select my size, my landscape size, and let me just clear out my download folder, and we'll go through it. Okay, and then I'm going to do the manual method. All right, so let it do its thing. It's going to create the 16-bit height map image. It's going to create these black and white files here. So what the weight map's doing is, let it finish creating here. I'll show you. If you click on the weight map here, it'll show you what you're going to get. Okay, and basically what these color-coded areas are, they represent particular landscape types. So like this is a forest. And these are just colors I chose just to make it easier. These are trees. You know, you've got ice here, maybe rock here, and you can see what I've defined if you go to settings, and you can see what I've defined, all these areas on the map that I've defined, and the RGB color that goes along with it. Close that down. And let's go back to the weight map. So you can see, oops, sorry. You can see the color and areas that are defined. And then if you look in your download folder, you can see what it does. So this is basically kind of like a screenshot of what the weight map file shows you. And then what we've done is we've taken each one of these colored areas and turned it into just a black and white image. And by that I mean you can see this blue area here is all of your rivers. All right, and let's go and find water. If we look on these, they're named. It's called Splat underscore water. We click on that, and you can see that everything is black except for the water. So now we've turned all the water into white with nothing else on the map. That's basically what a weight map or splat map file looks like. And now that way we can define each landscape type that we want. So let's see how we use that in Unreal. So let me go and open up my project again. And we'll load it here. And you need a landscape material in order to use this. So first of all, let's go ahead and just manually import our heightmap image and create our landscape. So landscape mode, import from file, heightmap file. This is our 16-bit. It says 16-bit, and that's our heightmap file. We'll open that up. It sets everything up correctly, 2017 by 2017. We'll import it. Back to selection. All right. So we've seen that we imported it correctly. Now we need to add our landscape material. So choose your landscape, and this is all standard landscape material. Doesn't have to be an auto material, just any landscape material. I happen to be using an auto material. It's called Openland. You can use it for free from GitHub for non-commercial uses. For commercial usage, go ahead and purchase it from the marketplace. And if you like it, purchase it anyway from the marketplace. He does a good job with it. So I'm going to choose my Openland auto material. It doesn't have to be an auto material. And this is how you normally set up landscape materials. Go to my landscape, go to my paint layers, and I'm going to add my weight blended layer for my auto forest. And we'll see that it does that. Just to show you what the auto material looks like, you can see that it's done cliffs and graphs and snow. This is all based on height through the auto material. So let's go back and show you how to do a weight map. And I'm going to show you what a river weight map would look like. So the first thing you need to do is, first of all, you have to make sure whatever material, you can use any material you want. In this case, I'm going to use top, just an example because I don't have a water material. First of all, you need to make sure it has its layer info. Okay. So any material you want to use as a weight map, you first have to have it as a layer info. So I've got my top selected. And then you need to go to Manage and Import, okay? And you'll see layers right here. It may not be scrolled down. If it's scrolled down, you'll see all your landscape layers. And you'll notice like sand, I can't choose that because I didn't add it as a layer, add the layer information here. I have to go ahead and add the layer info first. And then if I go back to Manage and Import, you can see now that I can select the sand layer if I want. Okay, so let me show you top, and this is going to be for rivers, just an example. Go ahead and check that. Open this up. Find my water Splat map. Open that up. Open, and then choose Import. Okay, let's go back to selection and take a look and see what it did. So you can see that it now drew our river, where our river is on our map file and Mapbox. So you can see all these little rivers here that are within my square are now, like this one right here, you can see are now painted on our map. Okay, so let me give you another example. Let's do the forest. Okay, so if we look back here, let's do maybe the trees. Let's try actually, we'll do the trees. So all this green area here that's within it, we're going to do, within that box, we're going to do the trees. And I will use my sand layer for that. I've already added it, added the layer info. This stuff is just standard landscape material setup. There's plenty of videos on that. So let me go to Manage. This is how you do the weight map or splat maps. I'm going to check my sand. I'm going to click Open here, and I'm going to find, let's see, not land cover. Here we go. Here's the trees. Okay. Choose Open and Import. Okay, we'll go back to Select and see what it did. So now you can see that it placed that image with the sand layer where I wanted it. If we go back and look at our map again, we'll see, and this is different angle, but you can see that this all here with Mount Rainier in the center is now the same as this here in Unreal. Now, the one thing you're going to have to work on, and something I can't really do, and I don't really have working right now, is the blending between the layers. So you can see right now, you kind of get this harsh line divide. It's a little bit blended, but that's something you can fix within your material itself. Do some layer blending or whatever. Maybe I'll do a video on that later once I figure it out. So that's essentially what weight maps do. They allow you, instead of you manually painting the areas or using specifically an auto material. Again, you can see here that I'm using both. I'm using both auto material and weight maps, and you can use it however you want. So, maybe you want to do like, okay, let's say we want to do snow here. We've already got snow here, but of course our weight map has a little bit different look based on it. Let's see what happens if we change, which you can easily do. Instead of using it as water, I can go to my snow, my top here, and re-import it as my, I think I have it set as glacier, and do glacier and import, and we'll see how that changed. So now it's using the Splat map instead of the auto material to lay out the snow. And you may or may not want it. It's all about, you can see how it changed differently based on our Splat map where the snow areas are. We've got more of it going down here, more going down here than we did. Let me see if I can do a Control Z and go back. Yep. So you can see the auto material didn't kind of get the ones down in the valleys and stuff like that. It just did it all over, where our Splat map really kind of got more of the more realistic, I guess. And in some cases, you're not gonna, it may not be in all cases, but in some cases you can see again, see how the auto material does it. And then if we do Splat map or weight map, same thing. You can see how it covers it differently. And this areas down here is still, I think, part of the auto material, because the Splat map only covered, this hard stuff. I don't think it covered in some of this stuff, but those little pieces down here are still part of the auto material. But what it did is it got like this valley is filled out, got more of a kind of sloping down here, and that's really up to you how you want to, what you want to use, what areas you want to use, or what areas you don't, and what do you want to use in auto material or not. But that's basically what Splat maps do. Okay, so going back to the Mapbox web application, um, in order to set up this weight map, I went over it on another video, but let me just go over it again. By default, this weight map won't be available to you unless you set it up in the settings. Okay, so if you go to settings, you'll see this down here where it says Mapbox weight map style. You need to set up a style, and to do that, you can copy what I have done. And you just click copy, and click copy again from here. It will create a style in your account, and this is in your account because the one I'm using, the one you're seeing from is from my account. So you need to create your own, and you can see how I've defined the layers. You can see that forest is red, and you can see all the different layers that I've defined. This is from within the Mapbox map creator, and if you want to know more about that, you're going to need to look in Mapbox and kind of search through and see how to use it. What I've done, I started with a blank map, and then I just added some information. And I'll just briefly show you what I did. So I went to layers. I chose add new layer. This is with a blank map. And I just read the documentation from Mapbox to figure it out. And I added a source called land use, or like, if I was using water, I used water, but let's say land use. Within land use, you can do a filter. Create filter, and then you have classes and types to choose from. So you can see in class, say if I wanted to do sand, I click on sand, and then maybe I want to make, well, let me choose something. Let's choose maybe glacier. Let's choose glacier. I guess you can glacier because we know we have one in the area I'm looking at, and we'll make it. So glaciers, the land use I'm trying to filter out. And you won't see all the land uses here because, again, you're going to need to, there's different, like trees, you don't see trees in here. Again, you're going to have to look that up in Mapbox, but basically it has to deal with a source. So you would use a different source, like I think, let me just add a new layer. So in order to find trees, you would use maybe, I think Mapbox Streets, or maybe land cover. I don't know which one it is, but anyway, that's what you do. And so you just rename this to, let's see, I'd rename, I said this was, what did I say this was? This is um, class Glacier. So, rename it to Glacier. Okay, Glacier 2. And I will change the style color to white. Okay, and then here's the RGB values that are important. This is the important information. Okay, so if you wanted to find a new area, there might be some areas, or maybe you want to change colors. Whatever color you choose in the style that you're creating, you need to make sure you note that. So Glacier 2 is, and I'll just copy these, is that color. Again, I just use my map, but if you can add more things to it, and I'll probably add more things to it later on. Let me open up terrain. And then all you need to do is go to settings. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. I was trying to show you how to set it up, and I got sidetracked. My bad. Let me let me go back. So you've created this. I apologize. So you don't worry about setting this up. So you created this. You hit copy weight map. Okay. You created this thing. So what you need to do in order for you to set it up on your version of a Mapbox Bridge, you need to go to Share and copy this style URL. Okay, copy that. Then go to Unreal Mapbox Bridge, and you'll see here you have this URL here. Go ahead and paste your style URL, and then get rid of the part up to your username. Once you do that, you can hit Save Settings, and now you'll have that same style as that I'm using. Okay, going back to setting it up, I apologize for the me going into a different area. Going back to setting it up, if you wanted to add your own map colors, maybe do some different areas. I think there's areas that are not actually colored in because I didn't know what they were. Like seeing this area is not colored in. I didn't know exactly what area, is this a sand area? Obviously not sand because I've got sand covered, but it's something. So I don't have that marked. So if you want to add something to it, say you find out what layer information this is and you make it, whatever color you want. If you want to add this to be processed, then you grab this RGB value, okay, and go to your settings, and you can see where I've defined everything. You just add new color, okay, and double click on it and call it, my color or whatever. That's whatever. My color, okay, and then double click on this, and then paste in your RGB value and hit enter. Okay, so now whatever you defined as your new color on here, it should be processed. There is one caveat, is I've noticed that sometimes, even though we've defined this color here, sometimes it's off when you actually download when we actually create the image file. So sometimes, like this color, I don't have my color picker with me, but sometimes like maybe this green might slightly be off by like 1 digit. So if you go back to your map applications, even though you define this as 252, 243, 243, it may come out to be like the same thing, 255, 243, 242. And in that case, it won't match up and won't process it. So if you've defined a color and you're not seeing it split out into the black and white image based on your color name, just double check what you defined and make sure you pick a color picker and make sure whatever is in here is really matches up with the color in the application. So if you actually look at the image and do a color picker and find out the color you defined really is, you know, that instead of that, then it'll work. So that's the only caveat. All right, so again, to set up the weight maps, copy the style. Once you've copied it, go to Share, grab your style URL, copy that, go to this, go back to your settings, go to your Mapbox weight map style, paste it in there, delete everything before your username, and hit save, and that'll give you the same map that I'm using. And that pretty much covers it. I think I've covered everything in the videos. Most of the stuff you don't really need to worry about. I mean, you can look it up if you want to worry about some more Mapbox stuff. Again, please check the help. It's got a lot of good information down there. I will update these videos with the ones I've just made. Some of these videos are still relevant, like 2 on how to overrate a satellite image. And if you'll look in here, you'll notice that there's some other things like I've integrated with. Train Magic is a plugin, which is a cool plugin from the same guy that makes OpenLAM. He has his own importing stuff from Mapbox, so you can use his built-in, or you can use mine if you want. You need to use a custom version of Train Magic, so it's not so relevant because I did this before he had his own version of importing maps. There's another plugin called Stamp Brush plugin. You can create stamps from 16-bit heightmaps. So like maybe you wanted just Mount Rainier, you could go back to your map. Maybe you want like just Mount Rainier as a feature instead of the whole landscape. Let me back up. You could do this, and you could download that as a 16-bit image, and then you can choose if you have his plugin installed, the Unreal Stamp Brush plugin. It will actually create this as just a feature on your landscape, not the whole landscape. But you'll have to look up his plugin on the marketplace, and it's something you have to purchase. I think this one's free, so you can Google. Um, I think Unreal Stamp Brush plugin. I think you can Google that on the marketplace, and I think this one is free. But I had the videos on it. So the main things are, if you look down here, you should see videos with the stamping tool and Train Magic and stuff like that. I'll update those, and that should be it. Cool thing, you can turn it black if you want. All right, thank you.